Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Garen. Just going to do a roll call if you're here. This is a live tribal council meeting, 9 o'clock on Monday, May 4th. We'll start with Chairman Coley Brown. Mark, if you're here.
Here.
John Snowball.
I'm here.
Louis LaRose.
Here.
Mel Frenchman.
Here.
Roland Warner.
Present.
Teresa Little George.
Present.
Thelma Whitewater.
Here.
Victoria Kitchion.
Here.
And is Dusty Armel on?
Yep, right here.
All righty. Chairman, floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Morning. Here this morning for the regular tribal council meeting scheduled for May 4th, 2020 at 9 a.m. On GoToMeeting and YouTube live stream. As a reminder, the regular and mid-monthly tribal council meetings are live streamed. The call to order at 9:04 a.m. I will say opening prayer for us. Heavenly Father, I come to you today very thankful for all that you do for us, for all that you give us, how you help us, how you're there for us every day of our lives so far. Heavenly Father, we really need you to help us out with this illness that is going around the country and the world, and it's here in our community with our people. I not only ask that of our people, but everybody that is touched by this illness. May you extend your healing hands to us and help us through this time. Thank you very much for that, Heavenly Father. I know you will, and I know you're there for us. Thank you for this day, Heavenly Father. I said you special blessings for our children and our elders, please. Amen. Amen. Okay, we gotta approve the agenda. So far we have one addition, this FY 2020 Early Head Start AIAN Supplement COLA and Quality Improvement Resolution. $60,440, no match required.
What is this? Grant? Mr. Chair?
Yes, Grant.
What is it called again?
Early Head Start AIAN COLA and Quality Improvement. It's with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Head Start. The COLA supports 2% increase of all staff salaries and fringe benefits. Quality improvement allocation will increase classroom quality, strengthen family services, and to create a program-wide trauma-informed environment.
Who's applying for that grant, Mr. Chair? Is it Head Start?
Yes, Head Start.
Motion to approve.
Is there any other additions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
As things are developing with these this coronavirus pandemic, and how the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska is working towards solutions with all of our business entities currently taking PPP loans out. That is correct. want to make sure that we're following all the guidelines and that we get a report from all our businesses on these PPP loans. Obviously, what is their plan? Follow the guidelines to make sure that these receivable loans are handled in accordance with the guideline. That's my addition, Mr. Chair.
Okay, PPE loans. Report requests. Okay,
Chairman, I got some additions.
okay,
Food security, labor, business grant programs, and the security workforce that's in our community now.
okay. Any other additions? What about the election changes? Anything on the election changes that we want to make?
I requested that we have a meeting together to discuss these things, and once discussed and then put it out in the community.
I also put in a same request. I agree with Delma.
I'll add it, Chairman. I'll add the election code to the agenda.
Add the election code too. Is there a motion to approve this amended agenda? Adopt it
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
now? Is there a second? Is there a second?
The second, Chairman.
Second by John. Motion by Mel and a second by John. Any discussion? Is there any objections?
Objection.
Call for the vote. All in favor to approve the agenda? John,
Yes.
Louis,
Yes.
Mal,
Yes.
Roland,
No. Doing the agenda.
Elma,
No.
Victoria,
Yes.
Dusty,
No.
four yes, three no. Motion to approve the amended agenda passed. 4-3-0. 4 yes, 3 no, no abstentions. Okay, on to the first item on the agenda is reading of the minutes. Number 1, 4/20/20 mid-monthly tribal council meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by John, is there a second?
Second.
Mal? Any discussion? Is there any objections? No discussion, no objections, motion passed 7-0-0. Item 2, 4/24/20 treasurer's report meeting minutes. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion by Melton, second by John. Any discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 7-0-0. On to ratifications. Ratify resolution 20-119A.
Did you read the resolution?
FY 2020 strategies to support children exposed to violence. 20-119A.
Make a chairman, Mr. Chairman, make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to ratify resolution 20-119A.
Second.
Motion by Tori, second by Louis. Discussion?
Where will that grant go?
Right down to human services.
What is it?
What was the votes on the last one?
7-0-0.
7-0.
Yes.
Thank you.
The resolution was signed off on Mal, Victoria, Louis, Thelma, and John Snowball. Via DocuSign.
Here,
What's that?
the amount of the grant funding.
$578,277. Beginning October 2020, with the end date of September 30th, 2023.
Thank you.
Department of Justice. Office of Juvenile Justice. Delinquency Prevention. No match required. Any more discussion? Is there any objections? No objections? Motion passed 7-0-0.
That it?
Item 2, adopt resolution 20-121. FY 20 BIA Winnebago Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security Act project. Dated 4/27/20, signed off by DocuSign by Mountain, Victoria, Louis, Thelma, John, and Eric. Signed off 6-0. Who didn't sign? Colin did sign.
Security Act. Where will that go?
The award amount is $1.5 million, $382,000, 6-month grant. The Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. Staffing for mask manufacturing and greenhouse operations.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Is there any objections? No objections, motion passed 7-0-0. Resolution -20-122. The motion to ratify.
So me,
Second.
What is the grant for, sir?
Okay. It was moved by Louis. Second by Victoria. Discussion. The grant is approving and authorizing application for Paycheck Protection Program loan under the CARES Act and approving a limited waiver of sovereign immunity. Dated 4/29/20, signed off on Mountain, Victoria, Louis, Thelma, John, and Eric. Any more discussion? Is there any objections? No objections, motion passed 7-0-0. Okay, we move on to new business. Item 1, only item, Planning Department Alcohol Program. Adopt Resolution 20-123, fiscal year 2020 Tribal Opioid Response Grant. Award amount is $247,000, 824. 2-year grant. No match required. It will go to the alcohol program.
Mr. Chair. Regards
Yes.
particular grant, the funding source and where it will be going. I would ask before we approve this, that we get data from the alcohol program on the existing grant and how that was used and the effectiveness of it in the Winnebago community for the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska before any approval be made.
Chairman, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
So we have before us, a request to approve this grant, and as you stated, there's no match required. And, one thing that I guess I would, recommend we reference or to keep on task would be to the monthly report from the alcohol program that would probably give, a status report on this. So, and so it would be my understanding that we successfully completed our work and are eligible for this grant. And I hear what Roland may be saying, but if there's no match required, we're going after free money that's just going to enhance our services. And just this morning, I came across a Facebook post where there's a young lady that took a bunch of pills. And so I said before that I was really naive to this issue because I don't know about that, but it must be an issue here. So I hope that we can help our tribal members that are struggling with that. And I guess if you're not experiencing it in your own family, not in your face like it was this morning, it's hard to I can know about that. So I want to make a motion to approve this grant.
Is there any more? Motion approved by Tori and second by Louis. Any more discussion? Is there any objections? No objections? No objections. Motion passed 7-0. Old business, none. Tribal council items. Item 1, Salmon Whitewater report on all COVID-19 grants received.
Okay, why I added that on there is that I wanted to see our report from our entities that had received these COVID-19 grants, and just to report what they got and what it's being used for and where we're at with it.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to request a status report on our submitted PPE loans and a final report on the execution of those loans, please.
Second.
Was that second by Eric?
Yes. Did you say PPE?
Or PPP, sorry, excuse me.
PPP.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to add on the discussion side of things for this motion.
Yep.
I'd like to put a timeline on that.
What's your timeline date?
I would like to have that information in hand before the end of the week. I would say by Thursday, no later.
Do we send that to all the entities, or John,
Yes.
can you take care of that?
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem. I know that.
Take care of that.
I know that none of our entities got left out. They was all able to take part in the payroll protection program, which is really good. It was looking like Winnebago and the other casinos might be left out, but it was really good news that they was going to be included, and it's going to go a long way for helping us stay afloat during these times and looking at reopening when it's time to reopen. So I'm pretty sure that information is going to be easy to supply to us.
I just kind of want to mention that some of our tribal employees still have not received their unemployment benefits. I know a few of them as of last Friday, yet still have not received anything. Any more discussion? There's a motion by Tori and a second by Eric. Any objections? No objections? Motion passed 7-0. Item 2, Alma Whitewater, RFP 10-year plan selection.
And I'm looking over the RFPs that we had received and that I have everyone had copies of it and ample time to look at it. I thought that we should make a selection. And I wanted to make that motion to for Darren Snake to get that position. Being that he had already done the 10-year plan for the tribe. He is a tribal member. He's knowledgeable about what our needs are. And he is, I think he would be good for that position. We keep talking about employing our own tribal people. So I want to see our tribal member get that position. Who knows our tribe more better than one of our own members? So I would like to make that motion to hire Darren Snake to do the 10-year plan.
Second.
Second by Rollin.
I have a discussion.
Discussion.
Well, I thank you, Thelma, for sending those proposals to us. I did have time with in the meantime to review those proposals. There was a lot of good proposals received. But one thing that I guess my takeaway was that most of them, it was like a apples to oranges read, and it to me it seemed like Darren was trying to duplicate services that we already have in our planning department, and those other proposals were a more robust approach to planning, and so I just didn't see the same objective in those proposals. And I just wasn't impressed with Darren's proposal. I thought it was grammatically incorrect, and it didn't stand out comparison to the other proposals that we received. And being that he hasn't had a positive past performance record with the tribe, with not only was that other plan not implemented that he wrote, none of us have seen it or heard of it. The other thing was that his recent position under the treasurer did not pan out well for the tribe, and I just don't think that it would be fruitful for the tribe to engage in another contract with this gentleman. But I do think there's opportunity for him. There's jobs he could apply for with the tribe, and I just don't understand why the table is trying to hire him so aggressively. But I just want to share that, and I object to this motion.
Chairman.
Yes. Go ahead.
Advocate for Mr. Snake. He's already done this once. He's an enrolled member, and he's a combat veteran of ours. And so I would like to see him do it once again for us with the 10-year plan, because he's already done it once. So thank you.
Any more
Chairman,
discussion?
Yeah, Chairman,
Go
I
ahead.
have something.
Go ahead.
We discussed this before, and of course, whoever should put in a proposal is it's open to everybody. And my thoughts on it before was that I asked Joy Johnson was the planning and development is if she had enough resources, if she had enough time to accomplish this, it's pretty apparent that this is what the table wants. We want that long range plan, and we haven't seen it. And so I asked Joy, and she said that she had plans of contracting some help, to get this accomplished. And I said, well, that sounds perfect, because that's what we want to do. And if you already have plans, and if it's already in the budget, and then you should be a part of this process of attaining that outside help to get this accomplished for us. So moving forward, that's what I thought the path was going to be. So I'm not sure. Maybe that is. Maybe Joy is a part of this, but I just want to make sure that that help would come through the department that's established for us, the planning and development department, and that those plans already were had, and it's probably in her budget to even pay for that. So I just wanted to make sure that it was through that, Chairman.
Chairman, this is Garen. I see in the dialogue box that Joy Johnson is logged on. I'm not sure if she can speak. She did send some chats here, and she might not have, or looks like she has microphone capabilities. Joy, are you there? Joy, are you there? Okay, keep going.
Joy's not there?
It doesn't look like she's here.
Can we call for the vote?
I got a comment.
Joey,
Excuse my voice. I'm having trouble today. I talked to Monica Morgan, and he indicated he wrote that proposal, not Mr. Snake. Not Mr. Snake. I looked at the proposal that he wrote, and it's a very poorly written document. So I'm not in favor of it. I say more about talking. Well, this morning,
hey, before we call for the vote, I got to comment myself. I know top two things on our 10-year plan is ought to be housing, and probably first of all is to I probably never get off trying to increase our revenue, to triple it to possibly 10 million, whatever, and take a chance with that water park. We could, with the housing, our people, we could put up more rent-to-own houses for our people. That would help them, and that would be a lot better for them. That's what I envision. That's a plan that I have. That's what I want. But I'm just one person. Call for the vote. If there's no more discussion. Or is there any objections? Is there any objections? Oh, go ahead.
Chairman, I'm not against, I'm not opposed to hiring Darren Snake. I just think this is the wrong way to do it. I never envisioned myself hiring people from the council table. I would have liked to go through the planning development department and got a recommendation, and then the council make the final decision. I just don't really feel well about this, and so that's why I'll be opposed to it. Not because I'm opposed to anybody, but because of the way we're doing it. You know, I don't think it's good, and so those are my thoughts, Chairman. Thank you.
I'd like
That's
to,
good, John. Go ahead.
I'd like to say, thank you to John. That's exactly how I feel. Same here. And after looking at those proposals, I myself like Bluestone. Just putting it out there for your information. Yeah, it'd probably save us 50% of the money that was proposed from the state. Thank you.
I want to say something, Coley.
Go ahead.
Coley.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm gonna stick with my motion. Planning had all this time to be doing things, and we're always getting things in last minute. I don't feel they're really assertive into getting these grants for us. I know Darren Snake is a certified grant writer and that he'll do good for the tribe. And he's ready to get up and running with all of this and get funding for the tribe. And with Bluestone, I know that there's a lot of them here who are for HCI, and that's who HCI employs. And I also see on here a lot of them who don't like Darren. It's obvious. And he is a tribal member, and I'm going to stick with it, that we need to employ our own tribal people. Who better than them can make things good for our people? And for the people on here who say they're traditional and they want jobs for our people, well, then let's do this thing. Why employ some other white people to come into our reservation and try to make plans for us that they know nothing about us and our ways and our culture? Darren does. His father was a good man and did a lot for our tribe. And he taught his son a lot of good things. So for you guys to sit there and say you're traditional people and believe in our people, well, then I want to see it. Put your hate aside and do this for our people. I'm ready to vote. Take that vote.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Thank you everyone for your comments. Bluestone is not affiliated with Tow Trunk Inc. They're not a subsidiary of Tow Trunk Inc. Or I don't think they even have business relationships. But Bluestone is a Native American owned company. And they did some work for the hospital strategic planning. And that's how I met them, and we all worked with them. We were all in those meetings with them for some of that strategic planning. But I just want to make that correction that that's incorrect. They are not a part of Tow Trunk Inc. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I'd have to agree with our Councilwoman Whitewater that too much time has passed. This should have already been conducted and underway.
Yep.
And so, because it hasn't moved after all this time since this has been talked about, there's been more than ample amount of time for word to get down to planning and have them get underway at least 3-4 months ago. They could have been doing something already. Nothing's moved up until, nothing still hasn't moved. And so I agree with Councilwoman Whitewater that we should bring on Mr. Snake to start making things move forward for our community and our future. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I would also like to weigh in my support for Mr. Snake. I believe that for us to not take a chance on one of our own people to help us through this planning period, it would be a remiss of us. I think that nobody's going to look after us better than our own. And for us to even have take that into consideration, have outside sources tell us what they think we should be doing with our resources. I'm not comfortable with that at all. I know that Mr. Snake comes from good stock over there. His father, the things that he did for this tribe, the things that he stood for, we're still standing on those principles and that foundation.
Yep.
It wasn't for those actions and those deeds and that all of those prayers that that man did, we wouldn't be where we're at today. So I stand with that. Second, I stand with that what Chicky said and what Councilman Armel had to say as well. Thank you.
Thank you for them comments. Maybe we'll have to look over this planning department and what their job description, what they're supposed to be doing for us. It's supposed to already be there. It's not. It hasn't been.
Yeah, Chairman, Councilwoman Whitewater had requested that our CEO come to each meeting so that these questions could be answered.
I'm
And-
here, John. Why
Well,
did you
I'm-
make the assumption that I'm not here? I'm present.
Well, we're waiting for input on, the council's having questions on this department, and you oversee that department.
Yes. And the last time that we had discussed this matter was during the February CEO report. And last that we were aware was that an RFP was supposed to have been going out. Now I talked to Alan because Alan, the RFPs are supposed to be going through following the procurement process and are supposed to be going through the CFO. My understanding is that this RFP has still not followed that process.
Yes, it has, Esther. It went through Rita.
Okay, so Rita
She's the
doesn't
one that
do
sent
the
it all out.
RFPs. Rita is the grant and contract person. She doesn't do RFPs.
She did the procurement. And it was sent out. So we had numerous people that replied that are not from our area, not even from anywhere near us.
Okay. So that was the information that
That's
I
been
had
done.
received from the CFO. Okay, so that's, again, apologize, but that's the information that I had received. And then this is the first that, I only seen the agenda this morning. So I had no idea that this was even going to be on the table for discussion until now. And then what is it that you want to know, John?
No, that was really helpful. Just you speaking up on your knowledge of it. I mean, I believe that was helpful for the council.
And then not only that, but keep in mind that we've had to shut down everything and deal with this pandemic. And that's kind of, it's put a little wrench in some of the plans that we had going as far as trying to get this strategic plan resolved. So, I mean, I think you guys need to keep that in mind as well. Thank you.
Is this position being funded by tribal funds or grant monies?
Procurement. Contract.
Esther, would that be covered under IDC money?
I have no idea where it was being proposed to be funded from. I assume it's coming from tribal council, but I don't know which budget or which line item. I've personally not seen the RFP, so I don't know. I don't have any of this information that you guys are looking at.
RFP planning funding source.
Mr. Chairman, I have another comment.
Go ahead.
I guess that raises another question in a budget restrained time. This isn't a budgeted line item, and I don't think, I guess going back to John's comment about functions coming out of the planning department and it being, I guess I can't assume that they have the funds to cover this contract or that we would impose this contract on them. So I too, I guess, regardless of who's selected, I would want to know where this money is coming from, or if it's just another arbitrary effort to hire somebody with unforeseen resources to support it. Thank you.
Already budgeted to get people contracted to help on it.
My first job on it, when it came up as part of that stimulus package.
It's already budgeted into the,
It's stimulus money. And we never approved that.
Any other comments?
I would just like to say thank you to Esther, our CEO, for speaking up. I think it helped the council with some movement, with some of the questions that they had, and maybe get us a little bit of clearer picture on what we're really considering here. And I think it's a valuable thing to have input from our CEO. So I want to thank Thelma and I want to thank our CEO for making that happen for us, because there's been a lot of times where I didn't have all the information and didn't have the insight from our CEO, which is a very powerful position within our organization. So I wanted to say that thank you to Esther and thank you to Thelma for thinking that far.
Also, I think all of us know what our people want, the people who support us individually, what they want, what they need. And we need to put those ideals forward too to this. Is there any objections to Thelma's motion to select Darren Snake for the RFP 10-year plan selection? And second by Rollin.
I object.
Object.
Tori? Louis? Is there the objections? Who objects?
Mel?
I object, Chairman.
Who's all in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Thelma,
Three yes, 4 no, 0 abstentions. Motion failed. 3-4-0.
Moot point.
Will there be another selection at this time? Or what is the plan?
I'm late for that.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I would like to see, to follow up on John's recommendation to work closely with our planning department on accomplishing what some of our council peers would like. And so that some of the things that you mentioned too about rental housing, I would support that, and or going through a targeted exercise to facilitate this discussion amongst the council to draft the pieces of this plan. And right now, what we're trying to do to get through this pandemic, and it doesn't seem like the right time to me to pick up another piece, or maybe it's something like a parallel effort that happens in unison with some of our existing resources. But I think that there's good thought in what we're trying to do here. I just didn't appreciate the path. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Coley?
Yeah.
Coley?
Yes.
I think this needs to be moved on, because we're just going in circles. Every time we meet, it's the same story, same story. Send it back to planning, send it back to planning. And so where is it getting us? It's not getting us anywhere. We're still in the same place. We don't have a 10-year plan. Our people we're getting these things coming through last minute. You know, we're not, it's like we're spinning wheels here. We need someone in there who's going to be aggressive and get things done. I keep saying that.
It was just recently we tried to get a grant and they said that they didn't have enough time to get at it. I forwarded that information to our secretary, make her aware of that. They're not meeting the timelines, and that was perhaps something that, you know, we may have gotten done if we had that extra person on board. But here we go. I feel that we're like 7 months into this new administration here, and they were still talking about the same thing. We had an opportunity to take our own destiny in our own hands today to work toward that. We missed it.
I would like to say something that
Go ahead.
we would need to, we're gonna put this in our planning department as it's been being said that we've lost a lot of good time for this 10-year plan and to get other grants written for our tribe. How much more time are we gonna have to give the planning department? After 7 months, by the end of this week, should we have an answer? Because if they can't get on this, then we're just losing more time when we know that this individual could have been on it, have started this week. So that's kind of just something I'd like to bring up is how much time are we gonna waste on the planning department again, after all these months have gone by to do nothing? Now, I would say have something by the end of this week. They've had 7 months already. If that, probably longer than that. So we would need to, I would like to just see something come out of there immediately. Since they've had that jump on this and we're giving them this jump again, this more time when we know Darren could be doing something. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I
Go ahead.
don't want this to turn into retaliation against our grants department. The oversight of that department is a function of our CEO and their performance. And perhaps at our next CEO report, we can get, I believe we've seen a document of like a matrix of the grants applied for and the grants received. And maybe we could get an updated version of that if we want to see what's in the pipeline, how we interface with our departments to create those opportunities and how that flows up, because I just don't want to publicly put down our grants department and create a misconception that our department's not doing anything when in fact we know it's not true, because every meeting we have these resolutions to approve opportunities. So I just think that'd be a real move forward if there's questions on the performance of that department. Thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that same thing too, Esther. If you can get this and we can come up with something, we can have some kind of documents in front of us and get something written up with some data by our council
Okay.
members if they want to do some research and see what we can pull up and discuss that day. Okay.
Okay, we'll have it on the agenda for next week.
Thank you. That's it for our regular agenda. Now we're on to our added additions. Item number one is fiscal year 20 early head start AIAN supplement, COLA and quality improvement grant. Support the Head Start staff. $60,440. No match required.
Motion to approve.
Second,
What's the resolution number on that?
The resolution number 20-124.
20-124. Motion by Torio, second by Mel. Discussion? Is there any objections? No objections? Motion passed 7-0. Item 2, added additions, PPP loans.
All right, take care of it.
That was part of the report. Okay,
Mr.
we'll
Chair,
scratch that one. That one's taken care of.
we already addressed that, Mr. Chair, so that's a
Yeah.
moot at this juncture.
Food security, item number 3, John.
So, we made the first initial donation to the food portion of this COVID, and it was 87,000. And since then, there's been another donation of 100,000. So the idea that came out of it was a food pantry to where we can supply nutrition to our people, and but there's no staff to accomplish that. So what's on the agenda today is to secure a labor force for the Winnebago tribe, to secure a labor force of new hires, so we can manage this food pantry, and we're going to really pull on the food distribution program. So it's upon the tribal council to secure the workforce for this program. If anybody has any questions, I can answer them.
Didn't you just say that?
Any questions for John?
I'd like to say something, Chairman.
Go ahead.
We have a food pantry already here in Winnebago. It goes by the name of Atlas. I would like to recommend that we put that underneath them, because they already have a idea of how to go about operating a food pantry. And so if anything, since we got a $100,000 donation, the original 87 that we would have put in on that, I would like to see some of that 87,000 go to Atlas, if we're not going to use Atlas for that food pantry, because then we'd also be helping our people from another direction at the same time. So that's just a thought that I had, since it said food pantry, and knowing that we already have one in town here. So since we got a donation bigger than our original money that we put in, that's just kind of a different angle I'd like to see us help our people. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
John, go ahead.
I would support that recommendation from Councilman Armel. I think that that's a good idea. No sense in reinventing the wheel when we already have an entity on this reservation stepping forward with the limited resources that they have and being effective. How much more could they be effective if we were to support them with this revenue and to help them in their endeavor to make sure that our members are being cared for? I would be comfortable with that. Perhaps they might need a couple more support staff and maybe some office equipment, perhaps some office associates and extra hands to stock and administer the food stock items. I wouldn't see that would be anything that would be overwhelming. I think that they could handle that. I think that they have that well in hand. So I would be very comfortable with that recommendation of Councilman Armel. So I would like to make that motion.
I'll second.
I have discussion, Mr. Chairman.
What exactly is your motion? To shift how much money or what to Atlas? Or
Well,
some?
We're talking about a food pantry. We're talking about employees, and there's already an entity with a food pantry. Then let's just shift that revenue over there to them, and then have them handle it. And then we support them with staff, office equipment, or whatever it is that they need to get rocking and rolling, so that we can then start getting what our members need. They're already addressing it with very limited resources, but they're being quite effective with what little they do have. Imagine what they could get done if we this council, this governing body, got behind them with this revenue.
Mr. Chairman, I have discussion.
Go ahead.
Or is there a motion in a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Eric, second.
I wanted to ask John if there was any other plan or pathways forward for this money, and I guess I just don't want to take a left turn at the table if the subcommittee had some other thoughts. So I just wanted to hear about that from you, please.
Thank you. So most of the orders have already been done. The Winnebago tribe donated, and there was another donation. So there was a lot of work that's already been done with finding vendors to buy from, and there's storage. I believe I can't remember the building, but there's where it's going to be stored. And I thought of Denise too, and the Atlas program, and pulling on their expertise. I was like, yeah, they already do it. So we were thinking about people who could fill these positions, but I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to create positions that we can pay, and looking forward, this could become a permanent program, and these would be all covered by the CARES Act funding. So even that initial donation could be covered to bring back to the tribe, and anything moving forward. So what we're looking at is creating those positions, authorizing probably our CEO and our HR department to create that staffing structure, and I think there would be excellent choices if we pulled from them, or if we moved over to Atlas. However that looks like, I don't know. I don't even know how we would do that, but I think creating those positions, not is what we need to do, and that staffing structure is what's happening. I believe most of the funds and most of the orders have already been made.
Mr. Chairman, I have another comment.
Go ahead.
Atlas isn't actually a program of the tribe. The past couple of years, we started doing a small appropriation for them for like mileage and different other things. But one issue I have is that we don't actually have direct oversight over that program, and so our CEO would not have any authority over that program. But I think we could probably work with Denise and call on her expertise and create more jobs through this other avenue. And then as things settle down, maybe there's a merging of the programs, or maybe it just grows and we have 2 food pantries, or I don't know. But what I like about moving forward with the subcommittee's intentions is that it's covered under the CARES Act, and I think that Denise could be very helpful in in helping structure that, and she knows the clients and she knows what has been working. But this sounds like it'd be an expanded effort of that. So I just want to say that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I would like to say that Atlas has been feeding our people. They've been understaffed, and they've been making it happen from the beginning. And they've even bumped up their orders to feed our people. It's been months now that we've had this COVID thing coming, and we've I know I've said to a few of our people that what we need to do, as in getting ready to feed our people, over 2 months ago, and nothing was done. And a month ago, I said something to this individual again, and nothing has happened yet. And all this while nothing was happening, Atlas was feeding our people at that time and giving food away. And it's still doing that. Even this week, it'll be doing that. And so that's what I'm saying. I would like to see this money just probably go straight to Atlas. It might not be a tribal program, but it's feeding our people, and it's run by our own people. Yep. And so again, either today we're going to hire people, which we didn't want to do in one of our last motions. And this is sitting in that same boat of the people already in our community doing things. Let's stick with sticking in our community then, and give that money to Atlas and support them, because since they already have a schedule, the way they run things, that I would like to see the money go to Atlas and keep that within our community. Thank you.
John?
I actually support that idea, but things have moved past that. The orders have already been made. We've been working with vendors, and I've been trying to think about how we move forward, and I really value what Atlas does, but I have to be honest, I don't know the structure of Atlas and if they get paid, and maybe we can really maybe help them and work together, I think. And I don't know what that looks like, and I wish we could talk with Denise and see her thoughts, and work with our HR program and get something rolling, and because I think it's like Dusty has said, it's long overdue. And so I think what we're looking for is just for the council to say, to have our HR program and our CEO, and then say, develop the structure, and then and if the Atlas program, I mean, like I said, I wish I knew more. I don't know, and I wish we could talk with Denise. You know, I thought of her when he was talking about the food pantry, like who really had the expertise that could do something in our community to help us with that. So, I mean, like I said, I'm open to anything, but I think what we need to do is get the ball rolling with our HR and our CEO and probably our CFO, and develop that structure, so when the funding comes, we can fill those positions, and through the tribe is the way it needs to go.
Okay, I had a question. You stated, was it 100,000 or 150,000 donated?
The tribe was 87, and then there was an additional 100 that's going to go towards the food pantry.
100. Okay, I know that 87,000 was allocated through our construction tax. Where did this 100,000 come from?
I believe it was a donation through HCCDC.
Donated to the south.
It was?
Yeah, it was a donation that came through HCCDC.
And
Coley?
I know trying to Not that I have the answers, but I think Atlas can be involved with this too. You know,
Mm.
some kind of agreement. Like we said,
So my-
Denise she kind of knows how the process works now in the system with that down there.
So Cole, I think that too. So I think one path forward we can do is establish probably a planning committee for this food pantry and have Denise on that planning committee and have probably Tatanka on there and our HR and our CEO and have them work together and get it done for us.
Mr. Chairman. We have a.
Thelma had a comment. Thelma.
Okay, okay. I agree with John that we right now just get that process going for the hiring right now. And I think we got enough committees. I mean, already you guys have that committee, John, with that food sovereignty. You guys need to figure that out and just get this hiring process going, and then let them figure out what to do with that money. Because right now we have people who are had this disease and they need help. We got to get moving on this. There are people who are hungry and need food now. There's enough of this been going and talk. Let's get it going right now. People need food in their homes now. So I would like to see that this week being done.
Mr. Chair, I think this is going in the right direction. I hear a lot of cooperation. I think that everybody's on the same page on this. It's just connecting the dots. An MOA would be a good step in that direction with Atlas to make sure that they have our support and the funding. And then the logistics side of things, making sure that they had the bodies there to do the work. And we could work that out. I believe that John's that task force that he's heading over there, they're moving in the right direction. It's just doing the minute details of that, how we're going to make that happen. Would you agree, John?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that it's a good move for all of us, and it supports one of our nonprofits here that's been working diligently to provide the needs for our community. And so we all want the same things. It's just making that happen. So I would suggest that we start having them discussions with Atlas and to get that proposal of a MOA, and then work out the minute details and the logistics side of things and how we're going to make that happen. Would you all be in agreement with that?
I'm in agreement with working with Atlas, but I'm not in agreement with turning that money over to Atlas.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Go ahead.
the tribe put in 87,000. They got a donation of 100,000, which is more than the 87,000 that we initially put in there. Why don't we give that 87,000 to Atlas and let them find their way on that? Because they're already doing the community a service and feeding the community for free. And they're even delivering some of that food, and give that 100,000 to the task force or the food sovereignty or whatever, whoever's taking care of that over there. That way we're supporting both sides without adding any more committees or combining Atlas with anything else. I believe that Atlas should stay its own entity. And so if we can take that 87,000, give that to Atlas, and that 100,000 stay where it's at, we're doing two things at the same time. So that's just kind of a thought that I had. So we're not making another committee or another joint anything. We just give that to them. I mean, we can do a budget for them to see how they're going to spend it, but ensure that we're trying to help our community members by helping Atlas, because they're doing it right now. Right now, they're doing it. So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I got another question, or I guess it's a comment, and it would need an answer from maybe the Food Sovereignty Committee, but if some of this food is already being stored at distribution, some of this money has already been spent and vendors have been acquired. So to me, I thought what was being proposed was a plan to staff or work out those details. One of the last discussions at the task force update last Thursday, I think, was how to fund the staffing portion and how to do that. And Alan's comment was that we would need to work with our HR department, and they talked about some of the labor force that was going to need not only with food sovereignty projects on the ground in the farming aspect, but also with the food pantry. So I don't know if splitting the money is the best idea. If some of the money's already been spent, and two, if the task force identified the needs as labor being the solution we need at this point. So I think there's a lot of good ideas being shared. I just really want to honor what the food sovereignty or committee has plans for, and that there'd be a concurrence at the table rather than changing what's in motion.
Call for the vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. They have $187,000. This is like week 9 that we're going on of this pandemic. So it does need to start moving this week. There was a motion by Ron and a second by Eric.
Chairman, what's the motion?
Ron, what, can you read your motion?
Shift the funding over to Atlas.
Is there any objections to the motion?
I object, Mr. Chairman.
I object. We have to maintain fiscal control.
I object, Chairman, because that Atlas is I support Atlas, and I even support developing some language to where we can give Atlas a donation with the CARES money. But I think we need to look on what kind of language that needs to be, because it has to be COVID related. And if Atlas is having a surge in people who need food, and then maybe we could do that. But I think this is a new program, and like Louis said, fiscal. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I want to get our people in action on this.
Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Thelma, what's your vote? Thelma?
I think she's muted. Thelma, once again, Thelma, can you?
Abstain.
There you go.
Okay, the vote is
Did you hear me?
yes, abstain. 2 abstentions, Mel and Thelma. 2 abstentions. Yes, 2. No, 3, and 2 abstentions. Motion failed. Two yes,
Chairman, I want to make a motion.
3 no, and 2 abstentions. 2, 3, 2. John,
I want to make a motion that we secure a food security labor force, and utilizing our HR department and our hiring process.
Second.
HR will be involved in on this?
It would be
Yes,
helpful.
The
Sorry.
Winnebago Tribe in Nebraska HR?
Go ahead, Esther.
It would be very helpful if we could get some guidance on specifically what types of jobs and labor that is being requested, because just saying food security labor doesn't really tell us much information. And I'm not I don't have a green thumb. I'm not involved with farming and gardening and anything like that. So I would just appreciate some more information.
Okay, we'll make sure that the subcommittee for the food security is communicating with you on as you move forward in creating these job descriptions and this hiring process.
All right. And then where's the funding going to come from?
I think the idea is that we're going to develop the plan, develop the structure, and then when the CARES Act funding comes, and then that's when we're going to enact it. But I think having the plan in place is important.
All right.
How much we pay them? Mr. Chair,
Yes.
in regards to this motion, this second, we're spending money that we don't even have. We don't even know how much we're getting out of this CARES Act. That is yet to be determined. We do not have any funds secured from that. We're still in queue on that. And so for us to be trying to spend money we don't have, I don't think that that's a very prudent of us or a good idea at this juncture. We need to kind of hold up and look at that. What's this? What are we paying? How many people are we paying? How much is this going to cost? We have zero funding coming in from our casino. Right now, as it is, we have to take out these loans. We're at a real disadvantage. I just want to make that clear to this governing body. I can't support that.
Thank you, Roland. I think a lot of plans are being developed, and I think the council is going to make them decisions when that time comes, when we figure out how much funding is coming and what we're going to fund. So I think the more plans we have, the better. And everybody knows the saying: if you're people who fail to plan, they're planning to fail. So I think it's smart that we put this plan in place and have it there ready to consider when the funds come, and have a lot of plans to consider. I think the more plans, the better.
There's a motion by John and a second by Tori.
Tori?
Yes. Go ahead, Thelma.
I guess as we're talking about this, okay, now the motion is to hire these people and we don't have the funding yet, but yet he wants to get the plan together. But in the meantime, we have all this money sitting there, right, for the food. And the food supposedly has been ordered and it's getting stopped. Can we use Atlas and maybe the food distribution to assist in doing those things until this other hiring process thing gets done? Because it needs to be moved on this week. By the sounds of it, you don't even know when that CARES money is going to be coming in. So it's going to be putting us off again.
Yes, I'll provide a report. I think the meeting is going to be tomorrow, and I'll definitely put that up for consideration and serious consideration that we need to start getting the food out and start utilizing some of the mechanisms that are in place already.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
I see a comment, and comment is saying Atlas is part of a subcommittee. Is that true? John, do you know that?
I'm pretty sure they are. That's the biggest subcommittee there. I think there's like 21 members was last time I was on that call. So I'm pretty sure they are.
Brian Mathers says HCCDC can use the foundation dollars that have been donated through nonprofit to purchase food for, however, the tribe wants it to be distributed through Atlas, commodities distribution, or some new or shared structure. 100% of the donation funds for food can go to food purchase, and HCCDC is not keeping any administrative funds or anything like that.
Good.
So it sounds like Atlas is involved. And it's good to see these something written on this stuff, even though it's going through an email.
Chairman,
Yes.
again, if we could just give Atlas money and let them do what they do instead of trying to integrate them with our plans, I think that would be more smoother instead of integrating them with whatever we're doing or we're trying to do. So again, I believe that if we could do that with Atlas, that they could function independently because they're already doing it. They're already doing it. So I'm just repeating myself on where I stand with that. That if we could just give them the money and let them do what they do, that I've already talked to them that they just need a few more freezers and a refrigerator because they're already doubling their orders to let them function independently. They're doing it. They're doing it. And if they had the financial backing from the tribe to finish what they're starting, because right now they're running on a one person lowly minimum wage paid individual with the aid of another person with their own free time, they're making it happen. But if we can give them that financial backing and let them run independently, that would take some of the load off of the food sovereignty or the COVID-19 task force and get the food out to the people. I mean, they're just doing it. That's all I can say. So thank you.
I have a question for John.
It would be nice to get a report from Atlas what they have done already.
John?
I'll be bringing that over, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, that'd be good. So we can have that, what Atlas has done already and they will continue to do stuff. What, Dama?
John? John, I have a question for you. You said that HCCDC had donated that 100,000. Do you know where that came from?
I believe it's a donation that came through HCCDC, and I'm not exactly sure where it came from. I know it's a portion. There was a bigger donation, and a portion of it went to the food pantry.
I have an answer for you, Tama.
Okay.
It came from the Casey Foundation and Lance Morgan is on that board. So part of it came from the Casey Foundation and another part came from another
What they've given, how much.
that that was, I don't know if it was anonymous or not, but
It's already in there.
I'll just say it from Aaron Morgan's family. So
Have in there.
$1,000 came from those two sources and it was given to the nonprofit to facilitate and then passed on to.
Okay, thank you, Tori.
Fridge, it's all right there. So if we can take that and double that, about 60,000, that's what I'm saying that. Money that we give them. That would be it.
There's a motion on the floor. It was motion by John, second by Tori. Is there any more discussion? Is there any objections?
I object.
Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 4 yes, no? Who votes no? Eric,
Aye.
raise his hand.
I vote no.
Elma, what's your vote?
Thelma, I think you're muted again.
No,
Go. Create food security labor force staff.
You know, it's the language in the CARES Act is saying that we can create a grant program so our casino can apply to us and say that, you know, these are lost revenues and we can reimburse them with the CARES Act money. It's just another plan, you know, another plan that we can have. And there's no, just to be clear, there's nothing written up about this. This is just for us to authorize legal to develop this grant programs for small business, so we can reimburse our small businesses for their lost revenues during the required closures.
And this is part of the task force work?
Yes, I emailed a memo to the council, and these are the first two items. These two items are ready for recommendation, ready for council consideration, and there's other items on here that aren't ready, so you can review that in your email. But these are task force recommendations. And again, this would just be a authorization for legal to develop the grant program, and then it would need to be finalized by the council.
You emailed us that information already?
Yes, it was. I emailed a memo to the tribal council.
The tribal council see it?
I saw that email.
I saw the email.
I saw
Um,
it.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to direct general counsel to develop a, I guess, an outline to administer the small business interruption grant program.
Motion by Tori. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Discussion.
Go ahead.
Will we get a list of all the small businesses on, I don't know how we do that with general counsel on the small businesses or who, if that, how far that would go? If it's enrolled members or, if they have to be on the reservation or just how that would go, because I know there's quite a few small, I guess I'll say small businesses with the enrolled members. And so I think, I'd like to see a list of these before anything gets, I don't know, how would we say it? Paid for?
Okay,
Before
yeah,
anything gets-
Dusty, I can put that on the task force as one of their things. I would say who would all be eligible to apply for these grants as our general counsel works on it. That way we have all the information when we finalize.
Yeah, before they accept anything or pay anything out, I think as a council, I think we should have a little bit of say in that. So, thank you.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Eric, for saying that, because one of the things that I remember in March that we talked about was that there could be Winnebago tribal members in other parts of the country, and perhaps they own small businesses, and maybe they're not right here in our community, but maybe this grant could be designed to help tribal members that are small business owners. So right now we're just thinking of our casinos and some of the ones that we can think of, but I think that would be good to be inclusive and see how far that money can be helpful. Or maybe that's not the direction. Maybe it's just from some of our larger entities that employ a lot of tribal members. But thank you for thinking of that.
Polly, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I guess I would like to have more information because I didn't see no email from John on that small business thing. I looked through my emails, I didn't see anything. And also seems like we're paying our legal a lot of tremendous money for doing all these things, and yet what are we seeing from all of this stuff? That's my question here.
You should have received the email May 1st. Question. Good email. Thanks, John. Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Authorize Big Fire to start this business grant operation, right?
Yes.
Motion by Tori or second by Mel. Is there any more discussion? Is there any objections?
Mr. Chair, in discussion,
Yes.
I would like to see this list before we start drafting anything up so that we have a clear idea of what we're looking at. Until then, I would like to hold off on this.
I would like to assure you, Rowland, that that we would be the ones giving the grant, so there wouldn't be anything that would go by us. You know, I have the same concerns that you have. So when this gets finalized, I want to make sure that we're giving out the grants, you know, and that we're in control of that. That it's not going by us, going under us, going over us. So that's something that I want to see within that that program, that small business program, that we're approving those. You know, we're doing those final approvals.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
so I don't know how or where this would fit in there, but to see the parameters of the requirements to be reimbursed for this COVID-19 shutdown. I guess I would like to I think I've said it already, to see if we're gonna meet the criteria to be, we're gonna be paid out. I just kind of, as long as we could interject in there somewhere to have our say, you know, I'm just saying, as a council, we need our say to, of who's gonna be requiring, or meet the requirements. Thank you.
I have something else to say, Coley.
go ahead.
If we're gonna vote on this, and then John needs to excuse himself from voting on it because his wife works for Big Fire Law, right?
She's actually still in law school. She does have a job offer. I'm not sure. I guess that would be up to, what
Because
is
it
the rest of
seems
the
like
council?
Well, because it seems like we're throwing a lot of things to Big Fire Law, and we're spending out a lot of money, and I'd like to see how much money we're sending to them for all these things that they're doing. And yet here we are with our COVID people not getting anything yet.
Mr. Chairman? I don't see an issue with John voting on the business of the tribe. This isn't, they're the current general counsel for the tribe, and this motion is to move it forward so that we have criteria and a document that steers and develops a grant program for our small businesses. So it's another effort to aid and assist our small businesses, and it's another piece of the CARES Act and a function of what this table is trying to accomplish to assist in this hardship. And so asking John not to vote and bringing up Big Fire is, to me, an irrelevant point and doesn't relate to this motion.
It does relate to it, and why isn't planning handling all this CARES Act? Planning department.
As we all know, the task force was developed to make recommendations to the council, and as you might see in your email, that this was one of the recommendations that came out of those discussions. And so now I see this next step as the table making that available, and it's only through the table's guidance that those recommendations are kind of enforced, and developing that criteria and the program would make that happen. So it's just a step in the right direction, and I just don't appreciate Big Fire being brought in about how much money we're spending, because it's a function of it's our tribe, it's a function of the way we do business, and no matter who's the general counsel, things like this would pass through their office. Thank you.
I'm kind of off the subject, as I stated earlier, and listening in on the task force meeting last week, I thought I remember Lance saying that there was in addition, there was $150,000 he acquired. He found it, and these numbers are wrong because now Brian Mathers, if you guys look, there's comments coming in. We use a $50,000 donation from one foundation to purchase food, which will be stored when it arrives at HCI distribution to be handed out at the tribe's discretion. And an additional 100,000 or so for food from the second foundation was also made. And that's including with the $87,000. So it's 150 and 87. So that's $237,000. That's been.
Cool. Maybe I can
Yeah.
clear that up a little bit. I think when they asked for a donation, I believe that the way it was explained was that we was gonna support other tribes and buy indigenous foods. So I think that 50,000 was utilized to buy like wild rice and Indian corn and things like that from other tribes to support other tribes. So I you're right. I don't think it's in this memo because it was kind of already explained how it was gonna be spent. So I think that's what that 50,000 was, and it's gonna be part of the food pantry. But so I think if that answers your question.
I have a follow-up comment, Mr. Chairman.
But
One thing that I did hear on one of the planning calls, and I'm on the state and federal funding subcommittee, and this had come up during one of those calls, and also on the at-large task force committee, was that we had to be very careful in our approach on how we develop these funding opportunities and how we spent it, because anything that we receive in the CARES Act is going to be audited. And Alan is very in tune to that and has been making sure that the right steps and procedures are in place as we spend this money and when it's received. And so I think I just want to make that comment to reassure the council that our CFO is directly in overseeing this portion on behalf of the tribe. So directing legal counsel to draft this and it be an airtight mechanism that would be in line with not only the CARES Act, but within our own accounting practices. I think we all appreciate Alan, and we did get our successful clean audit this past year. And so I just want to put that out to kind of make everybody comfortable that we have to be careful and do design these programs within the tricky legal parameters that this federal funding is laid out. So thanks.
there's a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion?
I just want to say something real quick, Chairman. I've been thinking about what Councilman Whitewater has said about me removing myself, and I was kind of caught off guard, so I didn't have my thoughts together. But sitting here, I've been thinking, and I did remove myself. I made it known to the council the situation, and that I would no longer be a part of any discussion or decision when it comes to Big Fire, keeping Big Fire as general counsel, that I remove myself. And but I do not believe this to be a situation of that. I believe this to be a situation for a small business, that we need to make an action to develop this program for grants for small businesses. And maybe the only way I would remove myself if I had a small business and I was going to benefit from this, maybe then that would be an appropriate time. But as it sits, I will support this motion, and I'll be voting for it. Thank you.
More discussion? Is there any objections? Is there any objections?
Object.
Call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 That's 3 yes. Tori, Louis, and Mel. Did I miss anybody?
You missed me, Chairman. I voted yes.
Okay. No?
No.
No,
No.
The vote, 4 yes, 3 no, 0 abstentions. Motion passed 4-3-0. Next added item is security workforce.
So,
John,
all right, council, we have a security workforce that's starting in the community. They're ensuring that everybody is wearing a mask and ensuring that there's only the safe amount of people in those places. And they've been working for almost a week now, and I wanted to make sure that they're taking care of them. I know within the CARES Act, one of the allowable expenses is hazard pay. So I wanted to make sure that we was going to take care of them that way when it does come. That it was the council's wish that we took care of those security guards who are in the community who are there, you know, doing an important duty for us to ensure that we don't, this virus isn't spread in the places that we have to go. So I wanted to do that, and I wanted to because right now, you know, I didn't know, you know, it happened real fast, and I wanted to take care of them. You know, they're good people, and even like getting them, you know, when it's hot, you know, maybe we could get some some security T-shirts for them, or some water and some chairs, and so they can be comfortable. You know, it's going to be a long day that they're going to be sitting there, and the weather's going to be getting warmer. So I wanted to put that up to the council and you know, speak up for them, speak up for those security officers who are doing that. You know, the very next day they answered the call and they're doing it. You know, and they're there at 8 in the morning and they're there till 7 at night. So that's why I wanted to put them on agenda and voice all them things before the council. Thank you.
Chairman, I have a comment.
go ahead.
Thanks, John, for bringing that update forward. I would be in support of supplementing and including the security workforce in those endeavors, whether it be hazard pay or if we need to take care of them this summer, and or if the casino, you know, does those things and we support that function, or wherever that money's or resource is going to come from. I think it's a good idea to be thinking forward as it gets hotter and their days become more intense as we get more pieces in the community. So thanks.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'd like to say that I have communicated with some of these security individuals at the front of the Black Hawk building and the store, at the Pony and at the Dollar General. And I think it would only make sense the entity that put them there should supply them with a chair and some water and maybe a little 10 by 10 shade if they don't have access to one in front of the store. So if we could do that, then I think that would probably be the easiest way to go about that, to ensure that they are protected from the sun and they're not sitting there thirsty or standing there getting tired. They have a chair and some shade and some water, the bare necessities of doing the function that they're there to do. So again, just the entity that put them there, I believe that would be the COVID-19 task force. That shouldn't be at the council level. That should be at the task force level that put them there. But thank you.
pandemic was.
Is there gonna be any action on the security workforce?
Chairman, you know, I can take care of them on those areas, but I just wanted to be a part of the record, you know, and hear it being said, and you know, because I think it needed to be said. It needed to be said, and when that time does come, and you know, we're looking at hazard pay and who should get it. You know, I want them included. So I just wanted it part of the record, and you know, I'm looking at we're taking care of them on the water and the shares and everything like that. That won't be a problem.
And that'd be all reimbursable, right? So update, no action? Update, no action on this item? Okay, we move to the last added item is our election code. Everybody get a chance to review any changes that we want to make and any recommendations? Go ahead.
I have a recommendation that from last year's incident that council make no changes after there was a last date to I forget what that word is. Like if somebody wanted to run and then somebody came and opposed and say, I didn't want them, because that was tribal council had came in after that date before somebody else can come in and say, no, I don't agree with that. That's what council did is after that date. So I wanted in there that they can't be doing that. That's what brought that whole discussion up. And making their own decision on letting someone in that doesn't live on the reservation. And it stated clearly in that election that they can't be doing that. And also have the sergeant of arms go around and check for any types of posters or campaigning things throughout that day in their job duties.
Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to cover will be the tribal boundaries of the voting. That we have the record of the tribe from 1865 from the that went to Congress to establish the boundaries when we purchased this land. And so that has to come from the tribe, and that hasn't gone to Congress for any new piece of land or pieces of land. And so with that being stated, I wanted to be known that we will stick with the 1865 boundaries until Congress can give us something in writing that we as a council from this Winnebago tribe of Nebraska sent up and get anything new. And so anything other outside of the boundaries of 1865 be disregarded.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
the last discussion we had before us, we had a memo from our general counsel, and some of the takeaway discussion was that we wanted stronger language to outline duties of the sergeant at arms. And one of the last discussion points was about the language with how many candidates appear on the ballot. And currently, it says 3 to 6, and that's during a normal election cycle when only 3 positions are being filled. And so some of the discussion was that people wanted it to be 4 to 6, but the rationale behind 3 to 6 is double the number of candidates that appear on the ballot are double the seats that are to be filled. And so those seems to be at that point some of the contention points. Additionally, the boundaries issue. And I just think one of the past council candidates, Tony Wood, that has become like a big thing. And we just don't want to get caught up in that. But I think that there's opportunity here through some of our hard lessons learned, signs being left up and campaigning. I think, we can all learn from that and strengthen this code in a real positive way. And so we have a memo with some of those things outlined. It just seemed like from the last discussion, everybody didn't hear or feel that some of their input was displayed in that or captured. So where I'm at with this discussion is that we capture some of the points that Thelma made, some of the points that Eric made, so that we can just move forward. And that's what I'm gonna offer. Thank you.
Today is May 4th, and the draft of the eligible voters list should be posted today. And if anything, we get that supporting documents when we approve the eligible voters list to address that one individual, if that's a problem, if that's. And then the only other issue that seems that is the number of candidates for the ballot, 3 to 6 or 4 to 8. What do we want to do? What changes are we going to make?
I would just say leave it as it is.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
wouldn't this require a special meeting? As we go into this conversation, wouldn't this require a special meeting? I think it was, I believe it was.
Yeah.
This would have been a special meeting for us to congregate and go over this.
Yes.
We're all here. Do we want to go in executive session or what?
Mr. Chairman, I
Yeah.
don't think requires executive session. And if we do it, I would support a special meeting so that we could all have this document in front of us and review those changes, that we could have general counsel present so that they can capture what Thelma has suggested, what Eric has suggested, what John had offered about strengthening the sergeant at arms language, and that everybody can have those pieces put in there that we didn't see in the memo we received. So we have a memo and we have opportunity to proceed, but what I heard was that everybody didn't see what they wanted to see in there. We talked about putting the changes that were suggested in the paper, and then we pulled back a little bit and said that, well, wait a minute, let's agree on what we want before we put it out to the membership. But we are against a timeline with putting out the schedule, with approving the eligible voters list. We haven't looked at that and done that exercise. That could all be done in a special meeting. I don't know if that would be in the gym and we would distance ourselves and wear our masks, but we do need to get moving on that. But the 4 to 6 thing, to me, I'm up for reelection. Thelma's up for reelection. I don't feel comfortable giving yourself better odds. It needs to be double the seats that are going to be. And And so that's my rationale is that the current language is double the seats that are filled. But as we all know, we're filling more seats than a normal election cycle. So I would be in support of a special meeting, but I'd also like that special meeting to be live streamed so that the membership can be engaged in that discussion and hear the feedback from the tribal council. I don't think that it should be behind closed doors. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I would like to push this meeting as soon as possible, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock if possible, preferably if we could all congregate in the gym here at the Blackhawk Center. And so that way we give that timeline the most time possible.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would support that. I too have asked for a special meeting last week, but it fell on deaf ears. Here we are. So it would be prudent of us to just get this out of the way and so we can get moving. I would like to see that happen tomorrow as well. Thank you.
tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Maybe today.
Preferably. Preferably 10 a.m. It gives everybody reaction time from today and tomorrow to get situated and put it in their plan.
Take
Mr.
a
Chairman,
motion.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment. The communications policy, only requires, or the live stream policy requires the regular and the mid-month meeting to be live stream. I would like, if there's going to be a motion made for this to be live streamed as well, and it's through the guidance of the council that can happen, but the policy only speaks to the regular and the mid-month. So I just don't think we should have this discussion in closed session, and I would hope that the membership could participate through live stream.
So is this meeting gonna take is it gonna need a motion? If so, I'd like to make a motion that we hold a special meeting tomorrow in regards to the voting election prerequisites.
There's a motion by Eric. Is there a second?
I would second that motion if it can be live streamed. Eric, would you be agreeable to that?
For transparency purposes, I would be.
I second that motion.
What time?
10 o'clock.
Any discussion?
This is Mal. Would there be able to kind of push that back later in the afternoon? I have a job and I have to do it tomorrow, but it should be done by 2 o'clock. Be back here by 3.
I have something to do tomorrow afternoon after lunch, and so I wouldn't be here. And so I'd like to keep it at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Does Wednesday work? What does Wednesday look like?
We have a deadline to meet. I don't know.
Well, I think the full council needs to participate.
Well, it's
You know-
easier to make it at 10 and make one person be there at 10 instead of making everybody else move for one person. So if that one person can move their schedule to be there at 10, that'd be the easiest way. And this is the council. We are the council.
If that one person can move his afternoon appointment, that'd be fair too.
This is the council. We already did a motion on this for 10 o'clock. So I'd like to call for the vote.
Well, I just, excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I think we could work out the scheduling that would accommodate, Councilman Armel and Councilman Frenchman. I'd like to schedule it as soon as can be scheduled to accommodate, everyone's schedule. I know different ones have, calls, task force meetings. So I think we can come together and figure that out, but I don't want to exclude anybody and move forward with the motion and get in a disagreement over a time slot. It's a really a minute detail that can be worked out very cooperatively. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, we've put a motion out that's been seconded at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I'd like to stick with that. Call for the vote.
So I withdraw my second if Mel can't participate.
Again, just change it.
Lori withdrawn her second.
Yeah, if the time isn't flexible and if it doesn't work for everybody, I don't want to, I don't want to be firm at 10 a.m. if we've heard from someone that doesn't work. And I think that maybe Wednesday morning would work, or maybe Wednesday afternoon would work, but it's just not worth excluding a council member if he's expressed he's not available.
Tori withdrew her second.
Mr. Chair. All the council, we have all sat here and agreed that there was a sense of urgency to this, making sure that we meet the demands and the timelines. We're under a lot of extra pressure because of this COVID pandemic. So a lot of the procedures that we would normally follow have kind of been changed. That puts a lot of extra pressure and stress on each and every one of us. We need to meet and get this taken care of sooner than later. What works tomorrow for everybody, time-wise, so that we can get this alleviated and we can move on, so we can meet that demand.
How about 8 o'clock?
What time? 8 a.m.?
How about 8 o'clock? Yeah.
You good with that, Mel?
Yes, I'm good with that. If we're done by 9, so I could get over to my job. I'm perfectly fine.
You good with that?
Do it.
Okay, I hear
Okay.
agreement for that time slot. Would you then second that time slot, Tori, so that we can get past this and go forward?
Yes, yes, I would. If we can all come together at 8 a.m., I would support that. Thank you for making that recommendation.
Okay, it's important that we get this done, everybody. We're the ones sitting here. And I know that it's a lot of extra pressure on all of us. It's hard. But we really got to work together to get through this. And each one of you are important. We might not agree on everything, but it is what it is. We all got our own thoughts, how we think things should go around here, but we all have a vote. So let's agree on that then. You want to make that second, or wait, or does Coley, does Councilman Armel need to make another motion for that 8 o'clock time slot?
Somebody needs to make a motion.
Okay,
I'll make a motion for 8 o'clock time slot, meeting tomorrow morning at the Blackhawk Gym.
Is there a
To be
second?
To be live streamed.
Yes, with that being live streamed.
I second that motion.
Any more discussion?
Coley,
Discussion. Go ahead.
Coley?
Yes.
Okay, the only thing is I'm gonna have to do mine through this, if they could set me up to do it over this thing that we're on now, because I am currently, in quarantine.
That's understandable.
I was gonna have a discussion with us after this, after we cut this live stream, after we adjourn. We do need to have a little discussion. Because a little information, what Tom was saying, and what you said earlier, Roland.
Well, Mr. Chair, if she's under quarantine, we have to abide by that. That's what we've all been pretty clear on how we're going to proceed with that. And John has led that initiative all the way up to now, and it's been really good for us because we're only down to like 2 members that I know of, maybe 3 in this community as a result of those actions that he has taken. And so let us push forward for that time slot, but accommodate Councilwoman Whitewater as a result of her quarantine. I would, well, let's keep moving.
Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yes, I support. I want everybody to be included, and I support Thelma keeping herself and others safe by quarantining. Thank you, Thelma.
I too would support that due to the fact of this whole thing is for the coronavirus in our membership, and to keep our membership safe. I would support that as well. Thank you.
Is there any objections? Is there any objections?
I have a discussion point again. So does that mean that we should just all continue on Zoom? I mean, I guess in person sometimes it's just a more I mean, we could all print that document and have it in front of us, and we could all maintain our safety. You know, want to think of our elder Louis and think of some of those of us that have some of the pre-existing conditions. So I support how the council wants to move forward, but if there's a great presence and some are quarantined, some are not, I don't want to have any advantage over another that can't be in the room. And so if we do it like this is how we're doing, I'm fine with that too. But
Roland and Dusty, are you guys okay with me discussing the little conversation we had earlier with what Councilman Armel is doing with the community members?
Well, I think we'd need a conversation after this meeting. If we all stay on this, stay here, like you said, we need to have a meeting and a discussion after this meeting, after we go off live stream. We'll discuss it there.
Okay.
Otherwise, finish this agenda with getting the vote and end this meeting and then go stay on after we go offline.
Okay.
Chairman, this is John.
Yeah.
Back to what Tori said, I'm going to be utilizing the go-to meeting for tomorrow's meeting on the election code. And I think that's in accordance with a motion, an action of this table to no longer meet in person, that it's not smart to gather in the same place, that we need to continue to operate as a government. And I've even took it to as far as, you know, I don't want to be in the same place as the chairman being the vice chairman, you know, that I need to stay safe. And that it wouldn't be smart for the chairman and the vice chairman to be in the same place. So that's what I think about it, and I'll be utilizing the go-to meeting.
okay,
Good.
I thank you, John, for saying that. I think I guess you reminded me that there was a motion that we would no longer convene in person. So I'm agreeable to a Zoom meeting. I just will probably stop by the office and print out that hard copy so I can review it. Eric, are you fine with this being a Zoom meeting?
Legal there. Long as long as the legal would still be there, the general counsel to be online.
Yeah, I
agree
think
with
be coordinated.
General counsel will be there. We'll be live streaming tomorrow at 8 a.m. And those who wish to, we will remain on Zoom and how we have been conducting our meetings. Correct?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Is there any objections to this motion? Made by Eric, second by Tori. No objections. Motion passed 700. The special election meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. Live streamed, and council will continue the Zoom meetings. Okay, that is it for our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make
Motion.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Eric, second by Tori. Is there any objections? No objections? Motion passed 700. We are adjourned at 11:25 a.m. And afterward, Garen, let us know when we're cut. I just want to have a little conversation with the council real quick.
Will do. 1 second.